Alright, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone. Shalom to the Akim and a few Akwat who may be listening. It's your brother Batak Allah from the GMS camp here in Chicago, coming back at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. The Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. Alright, Salakia. Let me key this up real quick. Play this clip, then we're going to get into it. Alright, here we go.
Now, even though it might be nice to have thinner subcutaneous fat so that you could see those muscles more clearly, that doesn't mean we shouldn't mention visceral fat. Visceral means pertaining to internal organs. So this would be the fat surrounding the organs. Here's the abdominal cavity, up here's the thoracic cavity where you'd find the heart and lungs. Now this particular body, or this dissection, is actually a little bit more tricky to make out specific structures and organs. And that's because it has such a buildup of this visceral fat. Like, look how thick and fatty this greater omentum is. You can see these thicker fatty appendages coming off the intestine and that buildup of visceral fat in between. What's even more remarkable is the amount of visceral fat around the heart. Yes, the heart is inside here.
So in today's video, we're going to show you what 1200...
Salakia. Alright, now we can do that. Alright, so that clip I just played was breaking down what is called visceral fat. Just a brief breakdown of it. But basically what that is you got two types of fat that go in your body when you are eating too much food or whatever and you get bigger. One type of the fat is called subcutaneous fat. That's the fat that's directly under your skin that you can, for example, like if you grab your stomach and you squeeze, you can grab it and like pinch the fat. That's subcutaneous fat. Then you got visceral fat, which is what they was talking about in the video, which is fat that grows inside of your thoracic cavity around your organs and surrounds your organs. And that's the most dangerous, that's more dangerous than the visceral or than the subcutaneous fat. All right. And the things that cause that visceral fat are the processed foods, the sugar, eating a lot of animal fat, like not cutting the fat off your steaks, or if they frying your food in lard and shit like that, that also causes it. And just poor dieting, and these devils, they understand that, and they attack Jake with the type of foods that cause those things, cause the visceral fat, which then leads to diseases. As the video showed you, that particular individual's whole cavity was filled, whole thoracic cavity was filled with that fat. It was surrounding the intestines, the stomach, all his organs, including his heart. And that's how a lot of you Jakes be dying of these heart attacks, arteries getting clogged and all that shit. The liquor is also another thing that drinking an excess amount of alcohol also causes the visceral fat as well, Salakia. But these devils understand how to attack Jake and how to kill people, man. Because it ain't just Jake that's dying, from the obesity, but Jake is a large portion of who suffers from that due to food deserts and just poor dieting traditions in general. All right, eating abominable foods, all of those things. Pork, which is extremely fatty. All these sea creatures that are garbage disposals of the ocean, and Jake likes to eat that shit like it's a delicacy. All these things cause, this visceral fat to build up in your body and ultimately leads to your death. So we're going to get these precepts and continue on. But this is Psalms 64:6. It says, they courage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? All right, so, these devils, they put all these foods in Jake neighborhoods and just really in America in general. You go to these other countries like outside of America, it's illegal to sell a lot of the shit that they sell here as food. Other places, a lot of this shit is illegal. All right, but a lot of you niggas will never know that because you only stay in your little hood. You don't move outside of your radius, and you definitely don't leave the country. All right, but and you don't read, you don't do research, none of that shit. Jake just got a one-track mind. But these devils, they're doing all these things. They're giving you all these poisons to eat, and you know, for the most part, people don't even fucking know it, man. All right. These devils are real slick. They know how to make shit taste good. They know how to make shit addicting, because a lot of these chemicals that they put in this food makes you addicted to it. All right. They know how to make the food convenient to get so that you don't have to spend a lot of time to get it. It's just right there. And these are the type of things that, you know, make people open to dealing with this poison and not giving a fuck. And then, you know, ultimately you get sick. You have to take these fake medicines that this devil prescribes you, that he makes money off of, that still kills you, just slower. And then he milks you dry and then you die. All right. But, you know, these devils, they do this and it's really under the radar for most people. Most people don't get it. This is verse 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. All right, so these devils are mad scientists, man. They study everything. They have a full and thorough understanding of death and how to bring death to people. All right, whether that's quick death with something like these bombs they make or whatever, or whether it's slow death like with this food that they feed you niggas, man. All right, this is Sirach chapter 12 and 10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. All right, so everything that these devils offer you is to your detriment. All right, even if they do good, they do it with the mindset of wanting to undermine you later down the road. All right, and Salakia, you know, I don't remember how to quote that directly, but it's in Sirach too. It's in Sirach as well, I believe. You know, but if these devils do anything good for you, it's only to fuck you over in the long run. They don't do anything good that's really truly for your benefit. All right, so you shouldn't trust anything they have to offer or anything they say. This is verse 11. Though he humbleth himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his wrath hath not been altogether wiped away. And, you know, like these, you know, like it says, you know, though his words are smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. And that's how this devil is. He knows how to sell shit. He knows how to make shit sound good. He knows how to make you think that he's trying to help you. But the whole time he's killing you, man. He's trying to poison you. Oh, look, this is cheap. We're going to make sure that this food is cheap and it's accessible. We're going to put a McDonald's in your neighborhood so you guys can eat. And what are they feeding you? Human meat, poison, chemicals, shit that makes you weak, docile, shit that puts your hormones out of balance. That's why a lot of these dudes are effeminate and got mo demons on them. All right, because this food, they're like conduits for demons. All this food got demons on it, and when you consume it and repeatedly you're eating this shit, it just keeps demons on you, man. That's why fasting is important, you know, and just, you know, because it cleans the body, it gets all that stuff out of you. And really, you know, even with the fasting, the best thing for you to do is just to not eat none of this processed shit. Even the good food that we get is really not that great, which is why the fasting is important, because you can cleanse yourself from the bad things in the quote-unquote good food. But as far as all this fast food, all these snacks and all that shit like that, man, it's best to just cut that stuff out. You know, and Apostle Gabar has been going into that heavily lately, and he's of course he's absolutely right about it, man. All right, and we got to do better. You know, we was raised a certain way. We got certain snacks that we like and certain shit that we like, but we got to really moderate that, and if not moderate it, cut it out completely. But this is Sirach 38 and 4. It says, Yahweh hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. All right, what does this devil do? He tells you that natural medicine and holistic medicine are false and not true, which is bullshit. All right, the Lord has created everything that we need to live a healthy life and everything that we need to cure whatever ailments that we're dealing with, you know. But what does this devil do? He says that that's not true, and he makes these petroleum-based medications and he sells those to you. And all these things do is just slow down your death and, you know, make the symptoms of whatever it is that you're dealing with more mild, but they don't ever actually solve the problem. You know, they actually kill you. Okay? Because really this devil's goal is to milk you dry of your money and of your whatever labor you can provide him or whatever value you can provide. And then once he feels that you've been used up enough, you die, and then that's that. All right, this devil is not in the business of healing people. He doesn't want people to live long. He wants you to just be a slave for a short season, and then he wants you to die. All right, and that's why the food is the way it is. That's why this bullshit healthcare system is the way it is. That's why they don't promote proper diet. That's why they don't promote, using the herbs to heal, because they know that that's actually what works, and that's not what they want. All right, this is verse 5. Was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known? All right, so the Lord has proven that we have everything we need. And this is referring to an account in Exodus that we're going to get right now. So we're just going to read that. This is Exodus 15 and 23. And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore the name of it was called Marah. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, What shall we drink? And he cried unto Yahweh, and Yahweh showed him a tree, which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them. All right? So the Lord has given us everything that we need to survive. All right? We don't need any of this synthetic bullshit that this devil creates, but he has created this society around lies. So he tells you that, what the Lord has made doesn't work and is not good enough, but that he has something that's better. And, all he has for you is death. He doesn't have anything that's going to benefit you, as mentioned earlier. All right? And this is why, that we got to start, making better choices on our own, for ourselves, man, through the Spirit. Because if you fall into the trap of this devil society, things like convenience, trying to save time, or saying you don't have enough time, etc., etc., you're just going to end up getting sick, and you're not going to be able to do the work of the Lord fully like you're supposed to. Okay, brothers need to be working out, brothers need to be eating properly, brothers need to be getting enough rest. I'm not going to say it's a certain amount of time you need to get, but everybody knows their own body. Brothers need to be making sure they're getting enough rest and all of these things, because shit adds up over time. And in the times that we're coming into, you want to have your health with you, man. You don't want to be suffering from ailments while we got to be on the move. Now, if that's your lot, the Lord is going to provide and take care of you. But, we also have to do our part to the best of our ability. All right. And so we're going to get this next one, and then we're going to close out. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 19. It says, What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of Yahweh, and ye are not your own? All right, so that's something that you have to consider. We don't own our bodies. We don't even own ourselves. All right, we're the Lord's property. All right, and even for you carnal people who don't believe, guess what? Esau owns you on paper. All right, so none of you people have your own liberty. All right, but, for those of us that are in this truth, Yahushua's burden is easy and light, and we will gladly put that yoke on before we decide to side with this devil, okay? But the point is that, you've been given something and you're expected to deal with it responsibly, all right? In order for you to perform your duties in this truth, it's best if you can be in good health to do that. If not, you still do the work to the best of your ability. But the Lord gave us a body to take care of it, man. Not to just be eating abominable foods, which Jake loves to do, which is why all these niggas are dying. Eating fast food, which is abominable as well, even though certain things might be, lawful. The way that they cook the food and shit just makes it terrible, makes it bad for you. All this shit, man. It's just not good for you, all right? And you have to be responsible in the things that you're ingesting and consuming, and, you got to be responsible with how you're taking care of yourself, because you're responsible for that. All right. And we got a job to do. And like I said, being healthy, makes you a better worker for the Lord. All right. This is verse 20. For you are bought with a price. Therefore glorify Yahweh in your body and in your spirit, which are Yahweh's. All right, so we expected to take care of ourselves to the best of our ability. And at the very least, you know, because like I said, brothers dealing with ailments, brothers got things that they have to go through. Everybody has their own battle. But at the very least, man, you need to be on top of the stuff you eating and consuming, because you do have control over that. Of course, no unlawful foods. You shouldn't be eating nothing unlawful. You know, we can control things like that. You know, as far as all of the fried foods and the sugars and all that, you know, it'd be a good idea to get that under control as well. Not saying it's unlawful to do, but you know, for your health, it's better if you don't deal with those things. All right, and you know, just try your best, do it to the best of your ability, but understand that this devil, you know, he is attacking you on a number of different levels. It's not just niggas getting shot in the street or, you know, redlining or whatever the fuck. You know, this devil is attacking us on all playing fields, man. The food is poison, the water's poison, the air is poison, everything is not, you know, this devil has control of everything, and he makes sure that it's fucking you up, man. So you got to try to deal with the best of the worst as far as this food and things like that are concerned, and just stay prayed up, man, and make sure you're moving around enough and staying active. All right. But with that, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone. Shalom to the Akim, if you walk who may be listening, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. Shalom, Kwam Yasharallah, Wah, Baba.